beautiful day. Welcome to Supernatural Saturday. It is Saturday, April the 21st, 2022. And today I have the energy of the being known as Hermes present with us today. And the meditation is going to be based on the conception and understanding of the still, quiet mind. I like Hermes' intention today because it's very clear that the distinction we need to make between who we are as an awareness and what we are taught to think we are is an important distinction to make. Good morning, Jana. Good morning, Khan. Good morning, Drusilla. This distinction between yourself as the awareness and the thoughts that are in your mind must be understood. You must be aware that you are awareness, aware of thought. It is the primary way to know that you can change and alter thought when you recognize that you are the one that is observing it. One of the advantages for anyone coming to this conclusion that you are the awareness and not the thoughts that you're observing places you into the position of being able to differentiate your creative process from what you have been conditioned to believe is an inevitability for your life. In other words, so many of you have been taught to believe that the thoughts that go on in your mind constitute who you actually are as an intelligence, whereas the organization and structure of those thoughts, their quality, may certainly be an indicative element of intelligence. The intelligence is not the thought. The intelligence is you or whomever is directing the thought. In the position of awareness, the very moment you move your awareness into that position, there is a differentiation that happens just by the nature of that differentiation between yourself as the awareness observing your thoughts and the thoughts themselves. That slight distinction opens a space up for you as the awareness to reevaluate, generate, transform, and change the existing thoughts you have been carrying around as a consequence of the information you've gathered through your 5 physical, sensorial, and experiential apparatus. My arrival here today is very simple: to assist you in widening that gap so that you can begin to deliberately and independently, that is, with less influence from the thoughts you already harbor in your mind, begin to formulate a creative process, a sequence of thoughts in the realm of this space, this gap between your awareness and the thoughts. If you choose to pull your attention away from the thoughts that are running on in your mind, if you pull your attention away from them, the question that often comes up is, Well, where does my attention go if it is not on thoughts? And I say to you, it goes to that place where your ability to intentionally create and manifest a personality that best matches the experience you wish to represent your life as being here. That is to simply say that you can create thoughts, ideas, and information and place them in that space between the thoughts you have had and what you are. And in that space, you begin to build, reconstruct an ideational personality that will serve you more effectively, perhaps, than the existing thoughts that you've acquired from the world exclusively. I'm not suggesting here that you surrender the thoughts that you've acquired. Rather, I'm encouraging you to create a space where you can formulate a personality that's independent of the one that's been constructed for you by the environment. You may still utilize the information you've acquired, that you have stored in the biological mechanism in the brain as electrical thought forms, and that you may still draw upon them, but to create a fundamental state of being that best reflects who you are. In order to do this, your attention needs to be able to pull away from the distraction of your acquired thoughts. And let me be very clear here that your acquired thoughts are any pieces of information that you've gathered or have received from the environment around you, or information that you have accumulated through lifetimes of experience that are stored in the deeper recesses of your genetic makeup. That is the memory system that the body holds deep inside what you call your genes. When this place of stillness is established, where you are not distracted by thought, and thought can be very seductive, thought can have certain qualities of emotion that garner your attention, that seek to compete with your awareness to pull you into patterns of information that may or may not benefit you without your actually choosing to do so, much the same way as you can have your name called to you and you find your whole body turning in response to that name. The name you've been given acts as a distractor for your awareness to function independent of that acquired identity. I want to make this as simple as possible, that you understand that as awareness, you are independent of your thoughts. You can still them, you can quiet them, you can give yourself a great respite from thought. And in that place, you may formulate thoughts and ideas that will in turn work as the thoughts that you were given by the environment and act as an influence upon your body and your environment. The moment you begin to formulate thoughts and ideas independent of what you have acquired, you begin a process of rebuilding or augmenting what you call your mind or your personality. From that perspective, you may go on to then be free in your choosing of thought, free in your choosing of creation, free in your function in this physical dimension, unencumbered by the acquired information of eons of past experience and even this immediate lifetime. How then do you create this space that always exists within your mind? How do you then create or recognize or manifest this space in your mind that you can begin to generate or cultivate new thought, new emotions, new ideas? And we say quite simply to you that the first step is in recognizing your natural position in the hierarchy of your body, your mind, and your environment. This is very, very important that you recognize your position in the hierarchy of your body, your mind, and your environment. The simplest way to come to that understanding is that you can be an observer of what the body is doing. You can be an observer of thoughts that are unfolding in your awareness. You can observe them. And in that moment of observation, there is a split, so to speak, between that which is occurring and suddenly that which observes that which is occurring. And in that moment between the observer and the observed, there is a space that you may put your attention on that space, and that space in your consciousness opens up to receive whatever you would choose or elect to put in it. Now, you may choose things from this world to put in that space, acquiring information from sources you have not acquired it from this physical dimension. And you may also generate new thoughts and emotions that best represent your ideal desired state of experiencing your physical reality. In that space, you might think of it in terms of your modern language, you might call it a subdirectory. That you have the personality of thoughts that you know, and you place them aside by being an observer, and you now have this space. And in that space, you can now create or put into that space new ideas, new imaginings, new sensations that will begin to build a secondary directory, an addition to what you've acquired from this world, but something that you now are directly being the architect of, becoming the architect of your own thoughts, your own ideas, and your own emotions, which will have their influence on your body, which will have their influence on your emotions, that will have their influence upon your environment and your experience of it. In keeping this simple, it is important you understand that the very act of your breath, the very act of observing thought, immediately serves to create the position of authority in your consciousness necessary for generating this space. In this space where nothing exists at the present time, when you move into this space, there is a delightful peace in giving your attention to nothing. There is a delightful peace in giving your attention to nothing other than the incessant activity of your mind, which runs on quite frequently by the stimulation of your environment and even by the stimulation of your own awareness interacting with it. But in this place where you create this space, there is a very interesting and exciting silence. And I will walk you through this process very simply. Complexity has value in certain areas of creation, but not in the process of differentiating yourself from your thoughts and your biology for the purpose of establishing a creative hierarchy over your mind, your emotions, your body, and your environment. What I will ask you to do as I continue to speak is very simple. I want to ask you to simply take your attention away from the thoughts in your own mind at this time. Keep your attention on the spaces that happen, the gaps that occur between each word that your body hears through the mechanism that you are listening to this communication through. Allow your attention to go onto that space between each and every word. The tendency for your mind is to try and focus on the words, anticipating what is the next word. And I encourage you to keep your attention on the spaces. The same principle works in making that distinction in your own mind, where you have a thought and you are aware there's a thought, and then there's another thought. But before another thought can come, there is a space between one thought and the next. As you give more attention to that space between your thoughts, you begin to experience something different than the thoughts would lead you to believe you are or are not experiencing. As you continue to focus on the spaces, the secondary step is to then stop focusing on anything of thought. To take a deep breath and establish an authority over your body. The goal will be very simple here, to get you into the position of awareness of the space that you have available to you always in your consciousness, and that in that space you can begin to create and redesign the world that you are experiencing, rather than repeatedly experiencing what you have been taught to believe is true or false about the world. In taking a breath and releasing a breath, you direct your body to do certain things. In drawing the breath in and releasing the breath, you are directing the body to function under your direction. You are establishing a hierarchy of activity between you as the awareness and your body. The second step is then to focus on the space between you as the awareness and the thoughts of your mind, what your mind anticipates, what your mind expects, what your mind wants to give your attention to, what your body wishes to attract your attention to through the senses, to simply take your attention away from those distractions and keep it in space. Keep it in the gap. You as the observer and the thoughts as something elsewhere, and your attention goes onto the space that exists between you and the thoughts. You want to utilize the mechanism of your breathing so that each and any time your attention gets pulled towards thought or anticipation or any other space, use your breath to draw your attention away from that, back into the silence. There is a different experience of your being that can be made available to you the moment you allow yourself to experience that space that you can observe between thought and your awareness. And I want to afford you a few minutes of practice in this, that you might gain the experience of your hierarchical authority over that mind and ultimately that body and your environment, so that you can feel through your own struggle between wanting to think about something or remember something or anticipate something, that you can feel the shift in your experience of your being awareness when you pull your attention off what you're so familiar with, get your attention connected to the space between those thoughts and your awareness. There will be 3 very slow, distinct breaths that I'm going to ask you to take. With each subsequent breath, give your body permission to relax. You are asserting a hierarchy of authority over your body when you direct it through your breath to relax. You are establishing a hierarchy of authority over it. And with each breath thusly taken, the body calms and stills. At the moment where your body becomes calm and still, if you find any part of your awareness being attracted to this sound or that smell or this anticipation or this thought or this concern, use your breath and pull your attention away from those things into the space of simply no thought, that place where, as awareness, you can observe thoughts from afar but not be captured by them, rather moving your space and attention into that area of your consciousness where there is no thought, and allow yourself to experience the silence that is available to you at any time. So let us do this together for the next 3 minutes, where we breathe 3 times slowly and deeply, and we release the tensions from the body. You are directing the body to relax, to release, to be still with your breath. With your breath, you are gently directing your body to be still and open to you. Under your direction, where you give your body permission to relax, you begin to experience the release of tensions from the body. This in turn begins to alter and affect the activity in your mind. Each breath that you direct your body to take is like a permission slip to it, allowing it to be still. And as the body continues to grow quieter under your direction, allow your attention to observe the thoughts, the considerations, the concerns that are occurring in your mind about what might come, what might not come, what may happen. Just observe for about a moment those thoughts. Be aware that you are observing those thoughts. And now, using your breath, draw your attention into the space between your awareness and the thoughts. There's a space between where you are observing and what is observed. Draw your attention there now. And keep your attention in this space. If anything through your senses or memories or information seek to pull your attention towards them, use your breath to draw your awareness back to the space between your thoughts and your awareness. And for 3 minutes, endeavor to keep your awareness in that space between thought and observation. If your mind or body compete for your attention, simply use your breath and draw your attention back to the space. if you are struggling to keep the mind still and your awareness in this space, this is not a bad thing. This is simply a process of learning where you gain the understanding of the distinction between your thoughts and who you are as an awareness living in a physical medium. The longer you can cultivate your attention to remain in that space, you can then begin to bring new ideas and information into that space, new considerations for your creative expression, for thought loans itself to energy, and energy loans itself to manifestation. This is the way it has always been through the manifestation of creation and the manifestations of creation. There is always a cause and an effect. For those of you that have joined us today, I want to say thank you for coming out. And this time of ascension, yes, it's very important to understand that this is not the first time this ascension has been undertaken by life forms on this planet. But it is important to know that it is taking place, and that that distinction between your mind and body, your thoughts and emotions, the hierarchical organization of them is very important for the ability you have as awareness to experience reality. Exclusive of thought and matter becomes very important in terms of your continual evolution deliberately through time and space. But I came here to offer this simple thing to you today, to give you the opportunity to recognize that you as awareness are not bound by the distraction of thought nor emotion. You as awareness can pull your attention away from them once you recognize that you are that which observes that which you observe. And you can simply learn to pull your awareness away from those things. It is all about simplicity. Wow, thank you so much. I want to talk a bit about what's coming up this week on Shortcuts for Your Soul, and I hope you will be joining us because this is going to be an amazing week. On Monday, May the 2nd, I have the Pleiadian Council wants to do a practice in telepathy. That's going to be on this Monday, the Pleiadian Council. It's called a practice in telepathy, and I hope you will join us for that. On Wednesday, May the 4th, the Divine Collective is going to be presenting something called Your Body is Listening, Your Body is Speaking. Your body is listening, your body is speaking. And then on Friday, May the 6th, I got Master Jesus wants to come and speak about separating the wheat from the chaff. And he says it's about renewing your mind. So I hope you'll come and join us on Shortcuts for Your Soul this coming week on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you're just watching this right now, please remember to, if you're new here, please remember to subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up, and hit the notification bell so you know that whenever we come live, you get notified that that's happening. Again, I want to thank our Patreons for supporting us, because these processes are live. We're able to do this because we have the time and the support to do so. We also give a percentage of everything that comes in goes to a group called our Underground Railroad, which is a group that helps liberate children from the sex slave trade. We're big supporters of that movement. Also, if you're interested in cultivating your skills as a medium or opening up your consciousness to receiving information from messages, guides, angels, other dimensional beings, I would go to my website, williammichaelforbes.com, and look up under the courses section. You'll see our master classes that we have ongoing. We got our Mediumship 103 master class beginning today, and that's going to be dealing with astral traveling, astral projection, understanding how you can change and alter conditions in your environment. Very in-depth, powerful course. And again, we have students here that will be joining us again. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys at around 11 a.m. this morning. But you can sign up for any of our courses that will be beginning today and over the next few weeks. We have our Mediumship 104 program beginning in 3 weeks. And then we have our Mediumship 101 program beginning in about 6 weeks from now. Have yourselves a wonderful and a joyful day. I want to wish you all much love. I want to say thank you to Hermes for your presence today and your simplicity. I really, really respect that. Thank you so much. And have yourselves a great day, folks. Much love, everybody. Bye for now.